Well, a gas explosion rocks a Baltimore County neighborhood more than 3 hours after the initial calls for help. This massive fire has finally been put out in Pikesville.
And at this hour, we know several people are hurt, including one person critically. This all unfolding at Stevenson Road and Janellen Drive. And that is where we have live team coverage tonight.
Kelsey Kushner spoke with neighbors, but first we're going to go to Paul Gessler. Paul, I know you've been there quite a while. What happened and how are things looking there now?
Well, for the first time in 3 hours, Denise, if you look behind that tree on the corner here of Birch Hollow and Stevenson, there is no longer shooting up over it on the corner of Quail Hollow or Birch Hollow and Stevenson. For 3 hours after this explosion, it was burning, and now it appears that flame is out and the gas has been turned off. 3 people, we are told, are injured here, 2 of whom refused treatment on the scene. 1 person taken to Johns Hopkins with critical, life-threatening injuries. We confirmed through BGE officially that was a BGE crew injured and taken to the hospital. A neighbor here told us that he smelled gas last Sunday and reported it rightfully to BGE. They've been out here. There's been a flagger force directing traffic. This road has been closed. They've been working on it. Everyone here thought, well, the work pretty close to being done. And at just before 4 o'clock is when this explosion occurred. We are told now 260 homes in this Pikesville neighborhood are without gas. Baltimore County Fire says this was only a 2-inch pipe. They have pipes much larger than that. More crews are on the way right now. There are several houses as well without electricity at this hour. The fire shot as high as 60 feet in the air. Here's Lieutenant Travis Francis of Baltimore County Fire.
Construction crew that was working in this hole. It's a gas-fed fire. That's why it's still burning at this point. We did have 3 people injured, one of them with life-threatening injuries. They've been taken to Johns Hopkins Bayview. That was an adult male. The other 2 individuals refused treatment here on the scene. And right now we're just waiting for BG&E to shut the gas off to that line, and then we believe that fire is going to go out. Our firefighters are on scene. We've evacuated multiple homes in the neighborhood. They're cooling down any area that's around it. We do have some vehicles, an excavator that's back there that did burn, some trees and some electric lines, so BG&E has secured the electric for us also.
Of note, for the first time in those 3 hours, we finally smell smoke. It was only when that fire went out, and now they're starting to apply a little bit of water in that area. There are some sparks in nearby trees and electrical lines here as well that they've been monitoring, but as you heard from the lieutenant, they couldn't put water on this. They needed to wait for that gas to be shut off. So again, 3 people injured here. BGE crews were working on a main here on the corner of Stevenson and Birch Hollow, about a half mile or so north of the Beltway here on Stevenson Road, where it is still closed when this explosion happened. One of those BGE employees taken to the hospital with what we are told critical life threat.
That's Paul Gessler. Great coverage this afternoon and tonight. Paul, thank you. Let's go over to Kelsey Kushner now.
She has been busy speaking with people who live in that area and whose homes were home when they heard what was a boom when this first happened. Kelsey.
Denise, Rick, well, it really was an incredible sight to see. I'll step out of the way and show you guys another angle from the scene here. Now, neighbors we spoke with say that they were just in disbelief. Those power lines are melted, trees were burned to a crisp. There were some neighbors that were evacuated from their homes. They're now waiting to find out when they're allowed to go back home. Now, neighbors we spoke with, they described the tense moments during that explosion. They say they could feel the house shake. When they came outside, they could smell the gas and feel the heat from the flames. Take a listen to what they had to say.
We were on the side of the house on Stevenson Road looking at the garden, and corner of my eyes I saw and I heard this big explosion, and just started getting worse and worse, and the fire was going up to the trees, and it was just, they brought one of the firemen over onto the lawn who was messed up. Donna went out with a blanket, but they made us leave because it was getting worse and worse.
So I was sitting at my kitchen table and it sounded like a huge loud boom. I thought a tree fell down at first because they've been working on the gas pipe.
Now, right now, neighbors on this street don't have any power. There is no official word yet on when that might be restored. A lot of neighbors out here say they are just grateful that there weren't more people that were injured. Reporting live at 7, Kelsey Kushner for WJZ.